Hello. How are you guys doing tonight? I'm in the parking lot of Meijer. I just went in and like walked around. I didn't even buy anything. And now I'm vlogging. And it is currently 2:38. And I'm really tired. And I don't know how long this vlog is gonna be. I've been kind of like dragging all day today, and it was interesting because a couple people commented, and then a couple people messaged me about like my diet that I'm on right now, which I think I kind of like figured out like how to do. Like today was a lot easier. I'll talk about my day first, but anyway, I have just been like dragging all day long. Like I've been like so tired today, and just I don't know, just like really like, oh, like I could just like sleep the whole day away. And even just doing a little bit of cardio last night, I woke up today and I was sore, and so I must have done something right, I don't know. But I got up and went and ran errands, and then I actually made some coffee this morning before I left the house, some cinnamon dolce coffee. So I drank that and ran my errands, and then on my way home, I got a coffee at Starbucks because I've been gone for quite some time, like running errands and stuff. And I came home and filmed videos, and it was interesting because I was gonna film a rant video, and then I was gonna film this review video of something that I have in my car right now. I had to look back there, that I have in my car. And so I was gonna film those two videos before I went home, and I kind of forgot. Like on my way home, I was talking on the phone to Tanya, and then all of a sudden I was like, has this ever happened to you that I'm like home? And when I got home, the Jeffree Star palette was there, so I just did the giveaway video for that today, and then did the lip scrubs for the review because I wanted to post those on the same day. And yeah, so tomorrow I'm gonna do, well, if I have time, because tomorrow is Alex's Christmas party, and it starts really early. It starts at 5, and we want to go and do some shopping and stuff. So I don't know that I'm going to make videos tomorrow. I may not have time to make videos. Well, obviously my vlog, I'll have time to make my vlog, but I don't know that I'm gonna have time to make videos on my other channel. I'm gonna try to, but if I don't, then I will just post videos on Sunday. But I also have my live stream for my book club on Sunday. I got a lot going on this weekend. So anyway, yeah, that was my day, and then I finally, I got the dogs fed, and then I made dinner tonight, and basically my dinner at this point is everything Morningstar that you can imagine. And I'm not hungry. It's interesting, I got full pretty quick, and but it's just really high in protein, and I don't know, I just, maybe I'm just not used to it yet. Maybe I'm used to eating a lot of carbs or whatever, but usually when I eat a lot of carbs, I get really tired afterwards. So you would think that this would be the total opposite. And I was talking to Alex about it, and he's like, really at some point, once you kind of go into this whole fat burning thing, he was like, you should have a lot of energy. And I don't have a lot of energy at all. I guess that's kind of how I would define it. Not that I'm necessarily tired, but that I just don't have a lot of energy. So yeah, so I made my dinner, and I watched, I finished watching the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion, and then I started watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta so that Alex and I can talk about it because we both watched that. And then he was coming home at 8:39 from work, and he texted me, and he's like, I'm gonna, be on my way here in about 20 minutes. And I was like, I'm just gonna lay down until you get home. I got into bed, and I was even saying to him, it was so corny, because he came home and he got right into bed too. We were both so exhausted, and I slept from 8:30 to 8:30 to 11, I slept. It was really nice. And then I went and I got a fountain pop with Tanya, and I got a water. And anyway. I've been trying not to get as many fountain pops. Like I said, I'm not gonna not drink them, but I'm trying to not drink as many, unless I'm like somewhere where it's kind of like, you know, like tomorrow night at this like party, I'll, you know, probably drink Diet Coke or whatever. But so then Tanya and I got a fountain Coke, and then I was talking on the phone, and then I went to Meyer, and now I'm vlogging. So that was my exciting day. But what was I gonna say? Shoot, now I can't even remember what I was gonna say. Why can't I remember what I was gonna say? Oh, I was telling Alex, like, I was so comfortable in bed tonight, and it's like, I had like my foot like in between like these blankets, and I was like, do you ever get your foot, like, you're like laying in bed and you're so comfortable, like your head is perfect on the pillow and your foot like goes like right in between like two blankets? And he just looked at me and he goes, no. And I go, you don't ever just have that moment when you're in bed and you're like so comfortable, you're like, this is absolute perfection, like this is just, it's like, I feel so perfect right now. Like that's how I felt. I know, it's the little things in life. So yeah, that was my day. And then tomorrow, we're gonna get up and we're gonna maybe go and try to pick something out to wear to this party. I mean, I have a bunch of stuff at home that I could wear, so I don't really need to get anything. And it's not, I guess it's not dressy this year. I thought it was gonna be kind of dressy, but it's at this like bar restaurant. So I was like, can I wear jeans? And Alex, because I said I might need to go buy a pair of khakis, like Joe's jean khakis. And he was like, well, you could probably, you don't need to, you know, dress up. And I was like, okay, well, can I wear jeans? And he was like, I mean, I guess you could wear jeans. And I'm like, well, can I wear jeans or can I not wear jeans? Because if I can't wear jeans, then I probably need to go and buy some pants tomorrow, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know, we'll see when I get up how I'm feeling. I kind of would like to get maybe a pair of like Joe's jeans khakis that are a little tighter fitting anyway, that are like slim fit, because I'm starting to kind of fit into smaller sizes a little bit. I haven't lost like an extraordinary amount of weight, but I am progressively losing a little bit of weight. I really thought going to Cheesecake Factory on Monday would just totally screw me for the week, but it really didn't. I was kind of surprised. And I'm back on track for what I wanted to lose. So that's good, right? And I wanted to go to the gym tonight, but I just was like so lethargic, and Tanya texted me and she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I just woke up. Do you want to go get a fountain pop? And she was like, sure. So we ended up doing that instead, which was nice. I think I kind of needed to just relax, you know? Yeah, so that was that. And then tomorrow will be fun. It'll be fun to go to the party, and the party will probably go to like 10 or 11, and then they always go out and want to do something after the party, so they'll probably do something after the party. I don't know. I'm sure I'll tell you all about it in the vlog tomorrow. I will tell you this that I have been noticing lately is that, well, and I feel really bad. Elle Leary from Elle Leary Artistry, who I love her so much, and she just hit 100,000 subscribers on her channel, and she's awesome. She sent me, I have these two packages back there. I want to show them actually in a vlog, like in the kitchen, so I can show you each thing. But she sent me that. I still haven't gotten my turn signal or my brake light fixed yet. She sent me that Tatcha like water cream. She sent me like a big thing of it, and I'm like, Elle, you did not need to do that. And I was almost getting ready to go buy some because I'm like almost out of it. So that was so fantastic. But I have to tell you that I have been using every night, like I wash my face with the Kalamazoo Lush face and beard wash. You can't really see it because the light is so bad in here, but like earlier, like when I was just like walking around the house, I said something to Alex, and then I put the Tatcha cream around my eyes, and then I used the Belief cream, True Cream, on my face, like during the day. That's what I do during the day. At night, I have been washing my face with a Kalamazoo, and then I've been using that hydrating mask, that Belief hydrating mask. Last night, Sephora has these little masks that are like one-time use, and I got a green tea one. I gave like 3 of them away in one of my giveaways that I just did. But they're like these like one-time use masks. It was fantastic. I'm really kind of starting to notice a little bit of a difference like in my skin. Like my skin is looking really, not that it was horrible before, but it's starting to look really clear. And yeah, so I don't know. And I've been really conscious of drinking a ton of water lately too, so that could be that. But, and I don't know, maybe it's the Toddy Halo kiwi pills too. Although I don't think so. And I will tell you one thing about those Halo pills. Like, you know, I'm really weird about my nails. I've never really ever had a problem with my nails. Like, I trim them. I don't keep them like, I don't know if you can see, but I don't keep them super short. They're always like right at the edge right here. And I trim them and I file them. And I don't know why I'm weird about my nails. My mom, my dad, my grandma, my aunt, everybody's always been like, they had like really nice nails. Maybe that's just why. So it was important for me to have nice nails. And but my nails the last couple months have been brittle. Like they like break off, like on the sides and stuff. And I haven't even talked about it on here a couple times, and I'm so not used to that. And I'm like, is there something that like I'm taking or something? I mean, the only thing different that I've taken are those Halo pills, which I can't imagine, since they're supposed to be for your nails, that they do that. But like, my nails just don't seem as strong as they used to be. But that could be aging too, couldn't it? It could be like getting older. I don't know. So anyway, if anybody knows, like, I don't want to take biotin, but if anybody knows a trick for that, let me know. I mean, they're not brittle, like they're falling apart. Like, they still look pretty good, but it's like, I just noticed that, like if I go like that, like, sometimes, like, it'll just, like, peel off. And I'm like, what just happened? Like, it's so weird. So, yeah. I'm ready to kind of like get through a whole week on this diet, so I'm used to it. Today, I didn't have any problems whatsoever, and you guys were so helpful. There were so many of you out there that said that there are protein powders that are low in carbs. I don't even know why I didn't even think about this. I just assumed since the one I had was high in carbs, they probably all were. So many people were like, there's this P1, PEA, not PE, protein powder that you can get. Well, I went to Fresh Time, and I found one today. I don't remember what it's called, but it was like $40, and it's 30 grams of protein and 4 grams of carbs, so it's perfect for me. I didn't try it today, but I actually got some of that Califia or Calibria or whatever it is, that almond milk. I got a different kind today. It was like oat and walnut or something. I don't know. It looked really good. So I'm going to start drinking those in the morning before I like get going for the day. I think part of me not having a lot of energy is like I'm eating mostly just like one meal. I'm not eating a lot throughout the day, and I think that would be better for me. So I'm going to start doing that in the morning, is making one of those shakes when I get up in the morning. I'm going to try to start off with like not putting any fruit in it. You know, fruit would always make it so much easier, but I'm going to try at first not to, because I know, like, you know, fruit's like, it's not bad for me, but it's like high in sugar, and it's not on this diet that I'm eating. But anyway, I pretty much like hit all of my goals today, and I had like, oh my God, if I told you how much veggie meat I had today, I had like 3 of those hot dogs, and I had like sausage patties, sausage links, a Morningstar Griller Prime, and then I had, like, that's a lot of meat, okay, like fake meat, but still. And then I had 3 string cheeses, and then I had these 2 peanut butter bars, like Nature Valley peanut butter bars. I've got to have something that has like some sweetness in it. But anyway, I still had some carbs left at the end. I was kind of surprised, and I was really close to hitting my protein for the day. I feel like I had one other thing in there, but I don't know what it was. Oh, I had a yogurt. I had a Greek yogurt. So, I mean, that was good, you know, like, and I was full, like really full after that. And yesterday, I kind of felt sick after I ate, but I didn't feel like that today. And you know what I was remembering was that back in the day, when I was eating like I would make 2 things of grilled chicken, and then I would have like a peanut butter sandwich, a glass of milk, and like steamed vegetables and rice. Like I would do that for dinner. I would always feel really sick afterwards. Like my stomach would hurt. Like not like pain, but like queasiness, like I did the other day. And I don't know, maybe it's just me eating healthier because I'm so like used to eating. I mean, I'm so used to eating unhealthy, you know? And maybe my body's just getting used to eating healthier foods, which I know that the Morningstar processed foods are not the healthiest in the entire world, but let's just be for real, okay? They're better than me eating, you know, fast food or chips and cheese and stuff like that. So, and I'm kind of like really strictly sticking to this. I'm kind of proud of myself so far. So anyway, yeah. And then I think I'm also gonna go look and see if like Atkins has, because I know like Atkins is, you know, high protein, low carbs, I think. I'm gonna see if they have like some of those bars, like breakfast bars or something that I can eat. I just like, those are easy for me and I really like those. So yeah, and then I did my prayers and my meditations this morning. I've been like so peaceful like the last couple days. Just like super, super peaceful. And it was interesting in my meditation today. I did my Peterisms video about it, and I like so related to this meditation today. I don't know, like it really connected with me. And it was about like I talked a lot about this on my Peterisms video. So, I mean, it's what the whole video is about. So I'll just talk about other things, but in relation to it. But it's like this idea that, you know, when things happen to us in life, you know, I've talked a lot in my videos about the difference between reacting and responding. And reacting is, you know, like if somebody like hits you and you like hit them back, right? Like right away, because you react to it. It's like immediate reaction, response, you know, immediate reaction, not response. But a response is when you kind of like take everything in. Here's how I actually learned about it years and years and years ago. So I was like in a team meeting when I was working in treatment, and 2 different units were kind of like arguing over who was able to use group rooms on certain evenings. I know this sounds like a totally corny example, but it was like a really good example for me. And so at the time, the clinical director like was getting a lot of complaints about, because we had only limited group rooms to use, and so like in the evenings, like people were like, they would just get in there really early, right? And they wouldn't even think about the other person. So they would get in there early so they could just use that group room. And then whoever's group room that typically was would go there, and they would have like no group room for the evening. It just was a mess, right? So everybody was going and complaining. Well, I had said something to her, like she had called us all, like all the units together, and like, and this wasn't a group room I use. I mean, I didn't have anything to do with this because I didn't run groups in the evenings except for one night a week. And towards like the end, when this would have been, I hadn't ran that group for 2 or 3 years. But anyway, and then family groups, but this was totally different. So anyway, these were like outpatient groups, and I was never an outpatient counselor. So, like I filled in for people that did outpatient, but I was never consistently an outpatient counselor. So anyway, we had this big meeting, and she had all of us like share, and people got like very upset about like them not having like certain group rooms and whatever. And I look back on this, it was like so petty, I think now, but anyway, so like 2 weeks later, she and I were talking about it, and I got like kind of a little heated when we were talking about it, and I was like, you know, like, what are you gonna do about it? And she was like, what do you mean, what am I gonna do about it? And I was like, well, what are you gonna do about it? And she's like, you know, I don't react to things, I respond. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, I'm kind of, you know, taking it in. If you haven't noticed, I've been here the last 2 nights or whatever in the evening, because I want to kind of see how this whole group room thing goes down and how people behave and how they act. And I'm going to take in all the information and then I'll respond to it. And I got it. I got that, like, I think in life we want to react. Something happens, we want to react. Something happens, we react. We, say something to somebody, or we take to social media, or, like we yell at somebody on the street or whatever. It's like, but the opposite to that is to respond, right? To kind of take in everything that's happening and then like form a response to that. Well, I've always thought that my two options are reacting and responding. And this meditation today was so fantastic. It was about that you have the option to not react, to not do anything, basically. You don't respond, you don't react. I mean, you don't have to do anything. And in reality, maybe you're not even in it, Like, take that example. It really had nothing to do with me. So why am I even, like, having a conversation? I mean, it had nothing to do with me. It would have been much easier for me just to go on with my day. And I've learned to be more like this through time, to just go on with my day and let things turn out the way that they're going to turn out. When I read this meditation today, I was like, it was so profound to me, this idea of not reacting, and it was all based around this idea of Melody Beatty and her son, and they had this gerbil, and the gerbil got loose, and they would chase it around, and they would chase it around, and she said basically the moral of the story is stop chasing the gerbil, and what she meant by that was stop reacting to situations, that, just let things turn out the way that they're going to turn out. We don't really have that much control over stuff anyway, and often we're not in it. It really doesn't have anything to do with us, even if it's about us sometimes, we're really not in that. And, it was just such a great, I all day today, I thought about that meditation, and I thought back on my life about times that, like, I've reacted to stuff that I just didn't need to react. I didn't need to be part of it. I didn't need to chase the gerbil. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't really have anything to do with it whatsoever. And when I sat back and just let chaos kind of ensue and go the way that it was supposed to go, life kind of turned out the way that it was supposed to turn out, Have you ever met somebody that, like, and I'm to blame, I wouldn't say I'm like this today, but I've been to blame for this in the past. When, like, everything that happens, like, people, like, you make it about them, it's, like, not always about that, right? Like, it just isn't. It's like I have a friend of mine, God love her, she just, like, always, she seems to, I mean, you talk about gerbil wheel, I mean, she seems to just, like, spin about stuff, and you can, like, talk to her, and it can be, like, a situation that has absolutely nothing to do with her, and she'll be like, I know, but, like, like 7 years ago, when, when I first met her, she did the same thing to me that she's doing now, so I totally know why she feels that way, and, it's just not fair, or, you'll be talking about something to do with your family, and she'll say, I know, like, my mom's the same way, and my mom, and you're like, every situation, she, like, personalizes, and you're like, okay, not everything is about you, it just isn't. It's gonna stop, hold on a second. But, anyway, I was saying, for this friend of mine, but I feel for her, because, like, I think to live in that, I never do that. I never stop it and then come back and go, but, like, just continue the conversation. But anyway, I think, like, I don't know. It just makes me sad for her. It makes me sad that she, like, it's just so much easier maybe to sit back and say, like, I'm not in this, just let it unfold the way it's supposed to unfold. You don't have to react to anything, sometimes it says it in this meditation, this idea that I have to do something. I have to do something about this. No, you don't. No, you don't. You can just sit there. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. Isn't that such a weird thought? Isn't that so peaceful though? Like, think about that. Like, in your life, like, all of the stuff that's happened, and then you've thought to yourself, like, oh my God, I have to do something about this. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, blah, 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 whatever. Have you ever had somebody call you up and be like, what are we gonna do about this? And you're like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Why do I always, like, but zip this coat up so high? But it's like, somebody will call you and go, like, what are we gonna do about this? Like, typically family does this to us, right? I mean, I don't have that much family left anymore, but back in the day, you know? What are we gonna do about this? Well, what do you mean? Well, like, my mom would call me and she'd say, well, I don't, you know, like, you know, Kathy and I got into an argument, and like, now Kathy says she doesn't want to do Christmas Eve, and if she doesn't do Christmas Eve, I mean, what are we gonna do about this? What do you mean, what are we gonna do about this? And it's like, it's so much easier to say that to somebody else, but when it's about you, it's completely different, you know, than you do want to chase the gerbil, so to speak. But I think it's important to remember, like, I don't have to react to anything. I don't have to do anything about something. I can just let it go. Just spin on. It's interesting that the tail end of this year for me has really been about trying to find, like, inner peace and serenity in my life. And I feel like things keep on coming up to teach me that, you know, that I don't know. I feel like in a weird way, like, I've almost had to, like, lose so many people that were important to me in my life. And I think, like, with my uncle passing away, it made me, like, really, I mean, you know, I talked about it on here and I got very upset even, saying, like, you know, who knows my childhood, who knows my soul. It's like, now that that's all gone, and it's like, I can't get that back, you know? And I feel like in the past, I spent time, you know, complaining about family, or complaining about having to do this, or complaining to have to go to this wedding, and complaining to have to do this. And, you know, and in reality, looking back, it was all a privilege, you know? It really was. It was all a privilege to be able to be part of somebody's life. And a lot of these people are still here that I'm talking about, you know, but it's really been a privilege to be able to be part of people's lives. And I think I really got that this year. I really got it at the end of this year, you know, that I don't know so much about the saying life is short. Like, I believe that. I believe life seems short sometimes. And I believe that life is fragile. But what I guess I really believe now is that life will be as meaningful as the meaning that we put to it. You know, like, have you ever been talking to somebody and it's like, you know, when you're talking to them, it's like, I really just don't care about this. You know what I mean? Like, and then that used to be like your common language, and it kind of makes you sad, and you're like, I just really don't care about this stuff anymore, you know? It's like, I have so many friends of mine from, like, the long ago that it's kind of like that. You know, it's like that when I got sober. It was like, you know, my friends would be like, well, you know, and John and Steve are dating, and they just got into a house together, and, you know, and then, oh, I saw John out at the bar on Friday night, and you're like, okay, you know, John and Steve are people that I never really knew other than going to a party or being out at a bar. I don't really care about John and Steve. John and Steve don't mean anything to me. I have no emotional investment in John and Steve whatsoever, which was part of what I was talking about in my video today, too. You know, is having an emotional investment in things. And it's just like, in that moment, you just want to, you're like, I don't care. I don't care about John and Steve. John and Steve don't matter. You know what I mean? My mom's gone. My aunt's gone. My uncle's gone. You know, I don't care about John and Steve. Fuck John and Steve. I care about the things that matter, like laying in bed next to my husband, or my dog, like, you know, circling next to my back, and I can feel him sleeping next to me, or the fact that Pee-Pee made it one more day, you know, or waking up and just feeling so peaceful, or looking outside and seeing the fog in our backyard, or, you know, really cuddling in with a really great book, or watching a movie that just makes me so excited to watch it and I just want to talk about it, you know, or a documentary, or having a conversation that actually is meaningful, you know? Like, those are the things that mean something to me today. And I don't want to waste my time on things that don't matter. I just don't, you know? It's like, sometimes I get a lot of criticism, like on my drama videos, and people will be like this happened the other day. I was really kind of surprised. People were like, oh my God, it took you so long to get into this video, and blah, 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 and you know, there isn't really any tea into this video. This was the one I did about Jeffree Star and his brother, and I'm like, okay. Now, I've been on YouTube now for 2 years doing drama videos. Now, I know that there are new people that have found my videos that, like, don't really know, like, what I do and whatever, but really, my videos are not about hard-hitting drama. Let's just be for real, okay? They're really more about looking at things from a funny point of view, and maybe how I would handle the situation if I was in it. You know what I mean? It's not a whole lot deeper than that. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, you know, I said, do you think that I should leave out? Like, you think I shouldn't flip the fan anymore? You think I shouldn't tell the funny stories and whatever? I said, because, you know, I got these comments on the video, which I was like, I haven't gotten comments like that for a while. She was like, no, because that's what makes you who you are on that video, or in those videos, and people that like you are the ones that watch for that. And the reality is, the drama videos for me, yes, are about talking about drama and talking about the things that are going on YouTube and my perspective of it. And it's fun for me to talk about. It's interesting, but at the same time, the videos that I have the most, like, I enjoy the most on that channel making, I mean, I have to say, the proudest videos that I've made on my Peter Monn channel are, like, the ones that I did, like, on my anniversary video with my husband. I'm proud of that video. I'm proud of the video where I talk about getting sober. I'm proud of the video where I talk about being bullied, and I'm really proud of the video. Well, the Dear Joey Graceffa video, like, I got a lot of messages from that video. I still do every once in a while, because it was about having an alcoholic parent. I'm proud of that video. And I'm proud of the video talking about having epilepsy, because I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me and said, I have epilepsy too, and I'm embarrassed of it, or I'm ashamed of it, and like, how do you get through it, and how are you not embarrassed, you know? And any video where I make somebody laugh, or any video that I help somebody, or any video where I change somebody's perspective just a little bit, or any video where maybe, you know, people think I'm crazy, but they chuckle, you know, and it cheers them up just a little bit, even if they think I'm the biggest idiot in the entire world, then I feel like, you know what, I've done something positive on that channel. Like, I've done something that day that, you know, I don't know. That's what I want to do with that channel. That's what I've tried to do with that channel. But those other videos could very easily have been on my Peterisms video channel, or on my vlog. I mean, I talk about, you know, all this stuff on my vlog all the time anyway. I got this water tonight, speaking of bottled water, this essential overachieving H2O, and I would say it's not my favorite water. I really don't know how else to explain it other than it tastes. Okay, do you ever, like, if you played sports, like, you know, when you go and you get the water and it kind of even tastes sweaty because you, like, drank out of that bottle so much, or if you work out or whatever, you know what I'm talking about? That's what this is. It tastes sweaty. I don't even know how to, I just got it from the store. But, you know, I think, like, the tail end of this year has been good for me, because it's made me, like, really realize my peace of mind, doing what I love, doing something enjoyable, making somebody laugh, making somebody feel an emotion, focusing on the things that really matter to me. That's really where I want to live. Like, that's really, really where I want to live, you know? I want to live in the appreciation for a first snow, or, you know, sitting and watching Sebastian on the stairs at Thanksgiving, you know, waving to us, because he's like, loves to wave now, you know, and he's understood that if he waves, we wave back. Like, he loves that, you know. Or driving around with Tanya tonight and just laughing, you know, laughing so hard. Like, that's where I want to live. And I think that's why people and animals are so important to us, because they create memories. It's like, you know, yes, we have memories by ourselves, but I think the majority, like, you know, like, I make a memory obviously vlogging, but if I didn't have people watching on the other end, I mean, at some point it would be kind of like, okay, well, you know, what is all this for? So I love that, you know, the interaction on here and on my other videos. I don't know. I just really have reflected a lot recently on what I want my life to be about. And when I say where I want to live, what I mean is like what I like, where I want to be. You know what I mean? And I just don't want it to be all of this anymore. Tanya and I were talking about that tonight, you know, that there was a period of our lives when we had some like really kind of like chaotic, toxic people in our lives. Not toxic like that they would bring toxicity to us necessarily. They just were people that like, they just had a lot of chaos in their lives, and a lot of it seemed self-creative. And friends of mine, you know, people I loved and cared about, but it just, when I would be with them, or when we would be with them, is what we were talking about. It's just a lot of nervous energy, just a lot of energy, you know what I mean? Like a lot of negativity, and a lot of just that, you know, like too much. And like sometimes I miss that, you know? Sometimes I miss that kind of like, that craziness. But that's what we were talking about, was like, mostly I don't. Like, sometimes my life is so simple, it's so boring, you know what I mean? That it's like, it's almost too peaceful. But, and I think like that's the hard thing about growing up in chaos. When you grow up in chaos, like I did, and you know, chaos doesn't have to look like explosions everywhere. I mean, you know, to some degree, like with my mom growing up at, you know, with a mother of an alcoholic, or having a mother that was an alcoholic, some of the chaos was in that I didn't know when the next thing was going to happen. So the chaos often was silent chaos, because I never knew when like the next thing was going to happen, if that makes sense. Like I never knew when the next explosion was going to occur. So that was kind of silent chaos. And I think that when you grow up in chaos and you, like as you get older, it's just like, I don't know, you're not very good at living out of chaos. Like it takes a long time. Like I almost sometimes am better in chaos. Like it's taken me a long time, and I can get back into it like very easily. And I think that's where the awareness piece is important, to be aware, like, you know, what triggers us and things like that. Like, I'm comfortable living in chaos. I grew up in chaos. I thrived in chaos. So for me, like, chaos is a comfortable living space. Does that make sense? But I don't like how I feel when I'm living there, because I'm constantly tense and, like, you know, panicky, and I don't like that feeling. I know it sounds crazy to say. I'm sure there's somebody out there nodding going, I totally relate to this. But it's like, even though it's like negative and toxic and panicky, I got so used to living in that that was very comfortable to me. It's what I expected. So for me, when things are peaceful and silent and serene, I almost don't know what to do with that. And so like the last couple months have been really good for me, you know? And it's like kind of like this, like I've had a lot of people that have contacted me and been like, I miss you doing the drama, I miss you doing the drama, and I'm slowly getting back into it. And I'm telling you right now, there will be the day that I come back on my drama channel and I'm doing drama every day, okay? That day is coming. It's not that I don't want to do the drama. I enjoy doing the drama. I don't know that I necessarily enjoy everything that goes with it, you know? I mean, it's a lot, and I mean, there's been probably 4 or 5 videos in the last week that I've really thought about making, and I thought, do I really want to, I don't know, like, am I ready for that yet? I kind of like just being peaceful today, you know what I mean? Like, so, but I'm coming back to that, it'll happen. I love doing the drama videos, they're fun, you know, it's fun for me. And I think I'm starting to learn how to do it and not like be able to like film it, post it, and move on. Film it, post it, and move on. Does that make sense? Like, not film it, post it, and then be on social media for the next 3 hours. Like, I don't want to live like that. But if you grew up in chaos like I did, and I know people have had it 10 times worse than I did, you know, then you'll know what I mean by like, you almost do better in chaos. It's kind of scary sometimes because, you know, like when we talk about this idea, I just went too far. Oh, well, I'll just go down here. This is where I went the last time I had to turn around. But, you know, like when people talk about sabotaging relationships, have you ever gotten to a point in a relationship where, like, I would say, like, my ex and I, like, one of the reasons why we made it through a lot of chaotic times was that we had both grown up in chaos and we both did good in chaos. So we didn't have a problem, both of us, living in a relationship of chaos, if that makes sense. Alex, he doesn't deal well with chaos. He doesn't like chaos. He doesn't like craziness. He likes calm. I mean, he likes to go out and have a crazy time. He likes to go out and go dancing. He likes to do all that. He doesn't want crazy in his personal life. He doesn't enjoy it. He doesn't need it. He doesn't desire it, and he doesn't want it. His family, they never fight. His family, they never argue. He doesn't understand it. Like, he really doesn't understand it. Because his attitude is we should feel so blessed to be able to hang out together as family. And his whole family's attitude is kind of like that. I gotta turn around. So, but like if you, so, okay, with sabotaging relationships, it's like, have you ever been in a relationship before? You know, like when people say, oh, I think I'm sabotaging this relationship, or she sabotages this relationship. Often what it is you get to a point where you're real comfortable in the relationship and the relationship is going really well. And then it's like, subconsciously, you gotta fuck it up, see? Because you don't know how to live in a situation that's not chaos. Because you grew up in chaos. And until you change that pattern in your life and you say, I'm choosing not to live in chaos anymore, okay? And I'm gonna work through this and live peaceful and serene and, you know, I don't even know. I think chaos might be more normal today than peace, but I think a lot of people live in chaos. Do you know what I mean? I think until you choose to do that, then you're going to continue to sabotage relationships. Because what happens is when things finally get good, when, you know, we say, oh, like, you know, I want to be in a happy relationship. I want to be in a relationship that's calm and, you know, I love them and they love me and we did this. And then when you get that, it's like, okay, we don't know what to do with that. Those of us that grew up in chaos, it's like what I was talking about with silent chaos. We don't know what to do with that because we're waiting for the other shoe to fall. We're waiting for like, this can't be it. There has to be something going on. There has to be, it can't be this good. It has to be screwed up. Does that make sense? So often, what do? we create chaos because we're more comfortable in chaos. And when we create chaos, we're self-sabotaging. And that's what happens to a lot of people that grew up in chaos. It's hard. It's hard to get out of that. It's hard to break the chain of chaos in our lives, you know? And really, when you think about it, look at my hair is so pretty tonight. When you think about it, this idea of growing up in chaos and then being good at living in chaos, okay? And, you know, realistically, like, do you know people that are like CEOs of organizations or human resource directors or team leaders? These are people that probably grew up in a lot of chaos. They're very, very good at directing chaos, okay? But when you think about it, saying that you lived, oh my God, can I just show you something? Can we just talk about this house for a second? Look at how pretty that is. It's so pretty. When you say, like, I grew up in chaos and, you know, like, oh, so, like, I'm good at living in chaos. What that means is that you developed a defense mechanism against living in chaos. You had to get good at it. You had to, or you wouldn't have survived. And, you know, my very first boyfriend, do you guys know family roles? Have I ever talked about this on here? So there was this idea of family roles. Oh, I just got that sticky stuff all over my hand. And family roles, usually in, like, we talk about them in addicted families, but they can be like within any families. There's like, it's like if you have like the addict. Well, okay, so there's like the family hero, and that's like the child that can do no wrong. And then there's like, I don't know that I remember all of the roles, but there's the black sheep. And the black sheep is the one that, like, never can do anything right. And then there's the lost child. And the lost child is the one that's kind of like always, and somebody can be more than one role. The lost child is like somebody that's kind of like off doing their own thing. Like, if like there's an argument, they hit it. They can't deal with it. And then there's the court jester. And the court jester is the person that just like makes everybody laugh, because that's the way of getting through like difficult times. It's just if everybody's laughing, well, hey, let's have fun, you know? And they're usually really funny and kooky and all that kind of stuff, right? And then there's the peacemaker, which is the one that like carries this huge water balloon over their head, because they're like, if anything happens, there's gonna be total craziness. Oh, it's gonna stop. So then there's like the peacemaker, and the peacemaker like is like the one that's like, oh my God, if this water balloon breaks, we're screwed. And then there's like the disciplinarian, right? And the disciplinarian is the one that like sets all the rules and the boundaries for the family. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be parents or kids. It could be anybody could be carrying these roles, but typically the disciplinarian and the peacemaker are parents, and the others are kids, right? So like, let's say if you have a drug addict child in the family, I thought it just stopped, but it didn't. Anyway, and that child, let's just say, is like failing out of school, getting into legal trouble, whatever. That's the black sheep, right? Then you have the sister, let's say, that gets straight A's, and I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but the sister that gets like straight A's, and, you know, like she's an overachiever, and she gets really, you know, like she's in sports and all this kind of stuff, you know, does everything mom and dad ask her to do, okay? Then you have the little brother. This is like such a stereotypical family thing of this, but I can't remember the woman that came up with this whole like idea, but she showed it on like this, what do you call it, the mobile, you know, that spins. But then you have the court jester, and the court jester is like, let's say, you know, the boy, and he, the 12-year-old boy or something like that, and like, you know, he's the one that's like doing some, always telling funny jokes and wearing funny hats and, you know, making faces at the dinner table and stuff, because we just gotta make everybody happy. We gotta cheer everybody up, see? And then it's like the lost child, who's the one that kind of like retreats to his room, listens to music, you know, like doesn't maybe have like a lot of friends, but one or two, and is never at home. And then there's the peacemaker, and typically a lot of times that's mom, but it can be dad too. And they're like the ones that are like, okay, hey, everything's gonna be okay. You know, if dad and son are getting into it at the dinner table because he just got arrested, mom's the one that's like, okay, not at the dinner table, you guys, come on. Because she's so afraid of what's gonna happen if the water balloon breaks, right? And then there's the disciplinarian, which, you know, is usually one of the parents too. So we have these family roles in our families. Well, that's typically what happens when you grow up in a family of chaos. And that could be any family, but mostly in family of chaos, we have these kind of roles. And even if you have just like 3 people or 2 people in a family, I mean, it's hard with just like a single parent family with 1 child. But if you have, you know, a couple, I mean, people usually carry more than 1 role. Well, how we grow up in those chaotic environments teach us how to be as adults, and they are defense mechanisms that we learn as we grow up, you know. And I didn't realize that as when I was when I was a kid. I didn't realize what role I played in relationship to my mom, you know, that I was either with my mom the peacemaker or the lost child often, you know. And and then as I got older, I was definitely the black sheep of the family, but I was also at times the family hero. I could do no wrong, you know? So it's like I would shift in and out of these roles. Well, imagine how crazy that is. My first boyfriend was completely in his family, and he had several siblings. He was the lost child, 100% the lost child. And, you know, like moved out when he was like 17, did his own thing. Like, he only later started getting, like, involved in his family again. But he would come with me for Christmas, you know, to my aunt's house, and my mom and my aunt would get into, like, some kind of argument because they had both been drinking or something. Well, no, but my aunt drinking, my mom wouldn't have been drinking at the time. But they get in some kind of argument. My mom, like, when my aunt drank heavy, my mom really never knew that she was drinking. I mean, she would see her drinking heavy, but she, like, had a hard time thinking, like, oh, she drinks a lot. And it would always end up in a fight, because then my aunt would say something and my mom would be like, I don't understand why you're talking to me that way. And so anyway, I would literally, like, all of a sudden look up and he would be gone. Like, I would be like, where did he go? And he would be like sitting outside. Like, he'd be like, I'm just not gonna deal with it. Like, I don't want to be part of that whatsoever. Like, it makes me nervous. And he would get, like, have an emotional response to it. Like, he would get really upset. And it didn't even have, I mean, at that time, I mean, it wasn't even his family or anything, you know? And, which is so funny, because when my aunt passed away, he sent me a message, and he said, I just want to tell you how sorry I am. I heard about your Aunt Kathy. I think he's friends with Caroline on Facebook or something. And he was like, Christmas is at her house. We're always so magical. And I think back on that, you know, but it's hard. It's hard growing up, you know? Things that happen to us, people think that they don't, you know, mean anything. Not the big stuff sometimes, but even just the little stuff, you know. I think about the fact that, like, my dad is really sarcastic, and I've kind of, over time, as I've become an adult, I've gotten his sense of humor. Now I am the same way, but when I was growing up, you know, he would be that way. And my stepmom and I, everybody always thinks my dad is funny. Like, if you talk to people, they're always like, oh my God, your dad is one of the funniest people I've ever met in my entire life. Right, but if you're sitting there, usually his jokes, the butt of his jokes are either me or my stepmom. Like, that's, you know, I mean, there have to be about somebody, so. And, that was hard growing up with. You know, I didn't understand that my dad's love language was teasing. It was never cruel. It was never mean. And what I didn't know until later, when my dad and I talked about it, was that that's how he grew up, you know? And his dad would do the same thing. And his older, because he was the youngest of 5, his older siblings would do the same thing. And that's how he grew up, you know? It's like in that movie, Postcards from the Edge. Have you ever seen that movie with Meryl Streep and Shirley MacLaine? It is so fantastic. And Meryl Streep's an actress in the movie. It's supposed to be the story of Carrie Fisher and... what's her name? that played Princess Leia. Not Carrie Fisher. Is that her name? Carrie Fisher? Carrie. But you know, her and her mom, they both died like recently and like very close to each other. Well, they had this very kind of caustic relationship. If you watch the documentary about them, they were also like super close and good friends, but kind of reminds me of my mom a little bit. Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher. Yes. It's Carrie Fisher, isn't it? I'm almost positive. But anyway, it's supposed to be the story of them, and Carrie Fisher wrote the book. And a fantastic movie. If you've never seen Postcards from the Edge, watch it. It's so good. And there's a scene in there. And when Gene Hackman plays the director for Meryl Streep in this movie that she's in, and he's talking to her about her mom, and he's like, you just seem real stressed out or something. And she goes, it's just my mother is driving me crazy. And he looks at her, and I'll never forget when I saw this scene, and I was like, boom. You know, like those aha moments like that. And he goes, you can blame your mother, and she can blame her mother, and she can blame her mother, but at some point you have to stop blaming. And I just was like, I heard that scene in that movie, and I was like, oh my God, it's so true, you know? We are generations created. We're who we are because of many different circumstances, many different things that have happened, not to me, but to my parents, to their parents, and on and on and on, all the way back, you know? And I think at some point, it's about accepting that and just being thankful for where I'm at today, you know? Tanya and I, we went to the gas station tonight, and the guy at the gas station, his name was, well, our friend Tony was there, but there was a guy there that worked there too. Oh my God, have I already talked about him? There was a guy there, and his name was, this younger guy, and his name was Alejandro. And Tanya said, his husband's name is Alejandro, and I go, well, he goes by Alex. And he goes, oh really? He goes, where's your husband? Is he from here? And I said, no, he's from Venezuela. And he goes, oh, I'm from Venezuela. And I said, he goes, where is he from? And I said, Caracas. And he said, oh, I'm from Maracaibo. And I said, oh, he's got lots of family that live in Maracaibo. And Tanya was like talking about this video that she had seen today, that the money in Venezuela has it means nothing. Like the money, the currency in Venezuela right now, like we don't see a lot of this news in the United States because a lot of it's edited here, but that the currency, the rate of exchange and all that is basically zero. I mean, their inflation is like at $1 million. It's ridiculous. It's the poverty level in Venezuela right now is unreal, and there's a civil war going on, and nobody talks about this. So Tanya was like standing at the counter. She's like, well, I watched this video and whatever. And he's like, yeah, it's really sad. My family talks about it and whatever. And Tanya's like, do you and Alex and like his family talk about it? I'm like, all the time. Like, all the time. Like, it's so sad, you know? And, you know, I think about that, and I think about feeling so blessed that it's not my circumstance right now, you know? And I think what's sad to me, too, is that, like, I hear about this Venezuela of yesteryear, you know, where that wasn't the case. And it's like how quickly circumstances can change. And that can be anything, you know. One Christmas, my mom was, you know, dancing in a kitchen in a cabin in Gatlinburg, and 5 months later she was dead. You know, people get hit by cars every day. You know, people get life-threatening diseases. People get divorced. People lose children. Our circumstances can change that quick. And I really want to go into this holiday season with lots of gratitude. And I really want to go into this holiday season with being extremely thankful for everything that I have. And look at all the blessings in my life, you know. As I have so many. like one of the last things, like I was taking my mom to these doctor's appointments at the end before she went into the hospital. And this one appointment that she went in for, she was kind of out of it. They had put her under like local anesthetic, and she was coming out of it, and she had her hand out the window. She put her window down all the way, and she she said something about Strawberry Fields Forever, the Beatles song, and then she looked at me. I'll never forget. She was saying, like, she looked back at me, and she had her arm out the window, and she said, like, life is beautiful, or life is wonderful, or just like, life is beautiful, isn't it? And I always think about, I don't know why, but I always think about it when I hear that One Republic song. Do you know which one I'm talking about? I don't even know what it's called, but I love that song. Good Life, that one. I always, like, I cannot listen to that song without bawling my eyes out. Like, I always think of my mom in that scene, in that car when she said something like that to me. I just always think of her in that moment, you know, that what a good life is, you know, like, what a good life is. You know what I mean, though? You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? I had to bring new lip balm out here. Because my Pat McGrath is gone, and I need to get some more. And I really want to get this Chanel men's lip balm, because it's just for men, but it's $38, and I have a really hard time spending $38 on a lip balm. But I might. I'm thinking about reviewing that whole, like, makeup line, but then I'm like, do you really want to do that? Do you really care? No. Not really. Oh my God, I already started the Christmas movie watching season, so I started watching the other day, Frosty the Snowman. The whole thing is on YouTube. And then I was just kind of like going through underneath it to see what other movies. What time is it? Oh my God, is it almost 4 o'clock? It's 3:40 or something. To see what other movies they, like, Christmas movies they have on there. I want to watch, like, all my favorites from back in the day. That's what I want to do. Yup. I, like, turn my heat on and it's hot, and I turn my heat off and it's cold. There's no rhyme or reason in between it. Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? I really want to stick to my diet tomorrow night, but I know that they're going to have, like, this appetizer, like, deal. I've got to stick to it, you guys. I've got to. I'm, like, going in. I'm like, I can do this. Wish me luck tomorrow at the Christmas party. Well, back in the day, they used to do it where they would have, like, you know, you would have, like, a little buffet with, like, they'll have that tomorrow, and it'll be, like, meatballs, and a lot of that stuff I can't eat anyway as a vegetarian, but there will probably be some pretty good stuff. I don't know. You know what, honestly, here's how I feel about it. Fire truck going out in the middle of the night, that's scary. Here's how I feel about it, honestly. I'm not stressing too much about it. If I get to the party and I want to have a couple cheese puffs, I'm going to have a couple cheese puffs and a cookie, okay? I ain't going to worry about it. Life is too short to not enjoy moments like that. I'll just go to the gym the next day and work out a little bit harder, you know? It's just not that deep. And I think that's how we all have to live. And I think also when I look at it as, like, not this, like, diet to lose weight by, but this ongoing thing that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, like, I don't, you know. Because he said to me, he's like, once you get down to a certain point, we're going to, like, merge other food in there, and I'm going to teach you, like, you know, how to eat not on, excuse me, a strict diet like this of like, you know, calories and carbs. He's like, but I'm going to teach you like how to eat, you know, like, so anyway, yeah. All right, you guys, listen, I think I'm going to get off here now and head home and upload this so I can get up tomorrow and, so I can get up tomorrow and maybe go do a little shopping with my husband or film a couple videos or something like that. So I love you. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday, and yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.